Is school actually necessary? What is the point of going to school? Is our educational system dead? Are you saying people shouldn't go to school? When you go to school and you finish school with a first-class degree and you can solve mathematical equations, but you cannot solve real-life problems, what's the point of going to school? When you are so good at remembering things in class, but you cannot solve a day-to-day problem, you cannot create any product, you cannot solve any national problem, they give you a degree. First of all, you are thinking in degrees. So your worth, your entire worth is now tied to a certain degree. There is no transformation in your life. You cannot even think about the future. You can't project 10, 15 years into the future of Nigeria and be relevant in the economy. When you finish school, you are confused than when you started. You have what I call identity crisis, identity dysphoria. You don't even know what you are supposed to do with your life. Check how many people finish NYSC and they are confused. They are depressed because nothing is working. We are just teaching people how to comply, and then we grade their excellence by their memory. We are just studying the past. We are not studying the future. So instead of researching, we are recycling Nigeria. Instead of rebuilding, we are just going around in circles. We are not producing leaders. Education is supposed to increase wealth and decrease poverty, but that's not the case. We are seeing the opposite. We have to go back to the beginning. We adopted so many things from the colonial masters. We don't have identity in Nigeria. We are imbibing slavery consciousness, not leadership consciousness. They trained you to go and work. They didn't train you to create jobs. So people come out of school and they are looking for jobs everywhere. Who will create jobs for you? What is the solution or the practical steps that we can take to change the educational system? Welcome to Seekers of Truth. My name is William Sugomurai, and on this podcast, we discuss issues relating to education, parenting, religion. And today I have here with me Mr. Nelson N.J. Joseph. He's a top executive and leader at Diora Cosmetics. And today we'll be discussing important topics as it relates to education. You're welcome to today's podcast, Mr. Nelson N.J. Joseph. It's good to have you here. Thank you very much. You're looking very good today. Thank you. It's nice to be here. Thank you. So let's go straight to today's topic. The Nigerian educational system seems to have so much controversies around it. What exactly is wrong with our educational system? The Nigerian educational system is not working. You can see, it's obvious. We are not producing leaders. Education is supposed to increase wealth and decrease poverty. But that's not the case. We are seeing the opposite. And we are imbibing slavery consciousness, not leadership consciousness. What we are doing these days is that we are just teaching people how to comply. And then we grade their excellence by their memory. So if you can just remember the rules, if you can recite dead men knowledge, if you can remember past quotes, we are just studying the past. We are not studying the future. So instead of researching, we are recycling Nigeria. Instead of rebuilding, we are just going around in circles. We are repeating, we are reciting past knowledge of dead men and all those things. And when you don't have education that is thinking about the future, that is visionary education, where people are equipped for leadership, for productivity, for creativity, for the mindset of expansion, the mindset of growth, you can't have growth in that kind of setting. So I think there is a lot we can adjust and have better results in the educational sector. Is our educational system dead? Are you saying people shouldn't go to school? When you go to school and you finish school with a first-class degree and you can solve mathematical equations, but you cannot solve real-life problems, what's the point of going to school? When you are so good at remembering things in class, but you cannot solve a day-to-day problem, you cannot create any product, you cannot solve any national problem, there is no transformation in your life. You cannot even think about the future. You can't project 10, 15 years into the future of Nigeria and be relevant in the economy. What is the point of going to school? So what is the solution or the practical steps that we can take to change the educational system with all the things you've mentioned so far? We have to go back to the beginning because the educational system is influenced by so many things. Colonial influence, actually. Because the Nigerian, everything is affecting the other thing. You know, I like to view things like an artist. When you see disharmony in music, no matter the amount of sounds and instruments and voices, a good artist can pay attention to the music and know where the problem is coming from. Just like when you are painting. When you see a beautiful painting, there are so many details in it. And I like to think that I have the mind of an artist. So when I see a problem in one sector, it's very likely that there's another problem that is affecting this problem
in another sector. So that is why I like talking about parenting, politics, education, religion, and most times colonialism. When it comes to education, we need to see that we adopted so many things from the colonial masters. We don't have identity in Nigeria. The educational system, when you finish school, you are confused than when you started. You have what I call identity crisis, identity dysphoria. It is something like that.
That's wonderful discovery.
You don't even know what you are supposed to do with your life. Check how many people finish NYSC and they are confused. They are depressed because nothing is working. They trained you to go and work. They didn't train you to create jobs. You understand what I'm saying? So people come out of school and they are looking for jobs. They are looking for jobs everywhere. Who will create a job for you?
The government.
Governments. That is why I said to fall back on politics when we get to politics another day, another time. So, but what I suggest first of all is independent learning. There is nothing as powerful as independent learning. Pursue your education to the high. Education is good though. It's very, very good. Especially if you are very clear about what you want to do with your life. Not the Nigerian schooling system where when you begin the class, you have to study all the subjects. When you now get to senior secondary, you now start fine-tuning yourself. But in some other countries, they have already spot out what the child will do from age 6. If it's music, they are taking you to music school from age 4. If it's football academy straight. If it's music, whatever the parents see the child doing at that, in parenting too. You see, I'm saying that all these things are interconnected. Parents too have to detect the skill in the child as early as possible and put them in that niche as fast as possible. So you see that now. But here you go to school, finish primary school, enter secondary school, you even do JS1 to JS3, you don't know what you will become here to. When you now enter SS1, they now say you should choose. And people now choose their courses out of arbitrary decisions. Sometimes when you even get to university, because of some factors, you can even change your course. You know they see them?
Yes.
They change their course because your score no carry waiting you. So you now have to be adjusting courses. All those things are not normal.
That even brings me to a particular interview I watched of a little boy. It was on social media, who asked a billionaire, multi-billionaire, and said that is school actually necessary for what he wants to do. And the advice the man gave him was, well, if your parents want you to go to school, please go to school.
Yeah.
But I can tell you for a fact that when you go to school and come out and you become employed, when you compare that with the amount you spend to acquire an education, there is no correlation.
I'm telling you. So schooling is not bad, generally speaking, but the Nigerian schooling system in this context is not yielding the expected results compared to other, first world nations, what they are doing. Look at the world around you. Just look at the world around you, you will understand what I'm saying.
Since the current system does not guarantee success, what is the key secrets to success?
I advise independent learning. And the secret to success, there is no secret to success per se. So it's not as if we have an alternative. Since school is not working, there's alternative to success. No, there's no key secret to success. If you look at successful people, they don't really have a particular thing that they can tell you that they did that made them successful. However, there are principles that they followed. Success follows principles. There are systems that you can copy and paste. So a successful man can repeat the success anytime he wants to. You understand? He can replicate the success. There's no secret, but there are principles that they know how to follow. For example, I can tell you some things that can, right now. First of all, you have to get 4 things right. And I might spend some time here. Identity. It goes back to identity. So when you can figure out who you are, which is something that Africans do not have. Most Africans, and in this context, Nigerians, do not know who they are. And that is a colonial influence as well. The colonial masters detached us from our identity, from our nativity. They took our language, they took our lands, they took our names, they gave us everything. So your identity is not authentic right now. You have a synthetic identity, meaning that you are a synthesized identity, an integrate of so many things. They are telling you what you should be. You don't know yourself naturally, authentically. Do you understand? So we have to go back to identity. We are Africans. We are supposed to be Africans. We are supposed to inhabit the African sphere. Then we are made in the image of God. That is image, identity. You have to know your image. Why are you here? Who created you? What can you do? Why? What is the purpose of your existence? All those questions need to be answered, and they are tied to identity. People who have identity problem, they have already failed. So if you want to somebody that wants to succeed, that is going to succeed in life, just look if they know themselves. If they have identity problems, there is no hope. Then when you are done with identity, this also ties to parenting, because most families, they do not take their time to educate their children on identity. They don't. That one is another topic for another day. When you are done with identity, then you go into clarity. Clarity. You have to be very clear about what you want to do with your life. And that is where independent learning is very necessary. When you have mapped out your niche, the things you want to do, and your mind is set. What I notice in the Nigerian business sector, or in the educational success workplace, everything, people are switching jobs. People are not consistent about anything they want to do in their life. They just do things based on how they feel, what their peer pressure is influencing them to do, what is trending online. People don't have clarity of purpose. They don't know what they really want to do with their lives. And that ties back to identity. You see, this is interconnected. Once you don't know what you want to do, you will copy the video. You will copy an influencer. You will, what you like, because human beings are imitative beings. Then tomorrow you change your mind, I want to play ball. Then tomorrow you change your mind, I want to start doing products. I want to be a marketer. I want to be a fashion designer. Then you are 40 years old. We chase money. That's another thing. You're not supposed to chase money. You're supposed to give value. Money is an exchange for value. Money does not exist anywhere. People will give you, the money you are looking for is in the hands of people. So when you create value in that niche that you have chosen for yourself, try to solve a problem. There are problems everywhere. Oh, what can I solve? Is it an intellectual property I want to use? Is it a product I want to create? Is it media I want to use? There are so many things you can do. When you solve a problem, the quality of the problem you solve determines the money you can make. Wow. If you are solving only a few people's problem, you will make small money. If you are solving national problem, you make more money. If you are solving continental problem, you are seeing. So the magnitude of the scope of the problem you can solve determines that. And if you are solving poor people's problem, you only make what poor people can afford to pay you. But if you are solving rich people's problem, you also make money from rich people. So that's the best thing is you have to look across the sector, and you have to look at your shape, your giftings, your talents, your abilities, your passion. These things come into play. Do you understand? Then when you have that clarity of purpose, the next thing you do is stability. Stability. You need stability to succeed. The environment comes in here. Relationship comes in here. Mentorship, sponsorship, companionship, the environment you find yourself. You have to be stable. You have to have sponsorship. You have to have something that will keep you running. You can't succeed in an unstable environment. I'm telling you. We can do this now because this place is stable. Yeah. At least there's a level of peace in this place. Where the environment is unstable, there's chaos, where there's no sponsorship. Anything that attaches to stability, you have to look out for those things. So you can't be pursuing a dream and just hope that miracle will happen. And that's what the schooling system does. They make you, after you comply to the rules and you are good at retentive memory, they drop you, they finish, they graduate you, they give you a degree. First of all, you are thinking in degrees because they give you degree. Yes. So your worth, your entire worth is now tied to a certain degree. That already caps your limits. Have you seen that? We need to break out of degrees and be thinking infinite expansion. This degree even makes us have degrees. We are measuring ourselves. We are comparing ourselves by ourselves. That's a funny way. And the Bible says it's a foolish thing to do. So when you have that stability, the last thing I would say is authority. So I mentioned identity, clarity, stability, and authority. And authority is broken down to two things. You have to have audacity and visibility. If you don't have audacity, my brother, no matter how talented and gifted you are, you cannot get. Authority has to do with having dominion. You have to have influence in a particular sector. And you can't get that without audacity and visibility. So people must know you for something. And you must have the audacity to stand out for that thing. You understand what I'm saying? Something must come to people's mind when they think of your name. Or if they think of a sector, you must be among the top 10 names that come up. So to build that authority, you need audacity, boldness, courage, and visibility. If you have figured that out, that's, you say secret to success, that's like principle to success. Then the next thing I'll say is embrace failure first. Yeah, you have to embrace failure. You have to fail. You have to be willing to fail fast and fail forward. And fail so much that there is no more option of failure. Yes, people are too scared to fail. That's why they can't succeed.
Who wants to fail, my brother?
But we need to, that's why the schooling system, it goes back to the schooling system.
Okay.
The schooling system is grading people based on who carry first and second. But if you check real life, nobody who carry first, they make them. Do you understand? It's not by taking the first position that you become the leader. That's why when you start grading people like that, you are telling them that they are not good enough. Because if I took first in a particular subject, it doesn't mean that I'm the best student in the class. This person may not be good at mathematics, but he's good at drawing. Okay. But we are forcing them to do mathematics. We are forcing them to do agriculture. We are forcing them to do economics. But that's not what they are cut out for. They will now group them together and score them. And that means that the person that will be very good at a particular subject will now shoot out as if he's very intelligent. But that is a scam. Because the other guy is also intelligent, not just in economics. He's intelligent in physics. Why don't we try him in physics? Allow people to be sporadic, to be adventurous. We just force people into columns and rows and teach them the same thing, everybody. We don't allow any creativity, any spontaneity. Everybody just do the same thing, write the same exam, and you expect them to come out, you understand? One person will always be better. But when you go into the real world, you see that those guys that first in class, they don't have some things to offer in the real world. Wow. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
Then when I was talking about failure. Yes. I don't want to miss my train of thought. Fail forward. Fail. Be ready to fail so much that there is no more option of failure. The only thing left is success. You have to learn how to fail very well. So that means you must have resistance, tenacity, you must have resilience, and you must have repetition. In fact, what people that are successful do most is that they learn how to repeat fast enough. If you can reiterate fast enough so that the failure will happen faster. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you and I were supposed to build an app or something, and you just try only 3 times in a week, or you just try twice in a month, try 50 times in a week, the options of failure in that app, I will exhaust it faster than you. So I will meet up with the success faster than you. Wow. So what I tell people is that just repeat that thing. If the other person is reading the book like twice in a week, read it 20 times in a week. That's what they just do. They just outlast everybody else. They outwork everybody else. So that's where hard work comes in. Wow. You have to do it again and again and again. When others give up, you are still doing it. It's those that outlast the rest that win. It's not the best person that wins. It's one that can have tenacity to remain, resilience, and keep repeating it as fast as possible. You understand what I'm saying? The feedback loops you are getting, it gives you more experience. You are trying this thing in 20 different ways already. That person only knows 2 ways. You understand? When you come out as success, you already come out with experience. You come out with so much results with you.
More like Thomas Edison.
Yes, they fail so much to succeed. We have to learn how to fail to succeed. It doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't mean that failure is good. But I just think that success is just a combination of so much failure that after the whole failure, you now become a success. Wow. So that is it on education. I really think that the practical step to solve the educational problem right now is to just reverse everything we are doing. Instead of recycling past knowledge, let's be researching future innovation. Instead of trying to have retentive memory, let's try to be inquisitive. Instead of having so much compliance, allow people to do what they feel they want to do. You can know what you want to do in your heart. And parents should allow their children to pursue their dreams. Not every child must be a graduate. This has to be very, very understood. Not everybody must be a graduate. Charlie Kirk, of blessed memory, he dropped out, Abi. Yeah. I think Mark Zuckerberg is a dropout. Yes, of course. The owner of Microsoft. Most of them are dropouts. I don't want to be wrong. But most people that make it in life has nothing to do with the school they went to. Check it. It has nothing to do with the school they went to. It's just that they had a passion and they had clarity of purpose and they had tenacity and they stayed until it brought results.
Well, that's a lot you've really shared with us
Yeah.
today, Mr. Nelson.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on today's podcast. I wish we will have probably more series on this particular topic, education. But
Yeah.
there seems to be so much.
There's so much about in education, but there are also schools that are doing well. Let's not lie. Like there are private schools that are doing well. There are even some government schools that are doing well, but we can do better. And I really think that the trajectory of Nigeria can change drastically if we just invest more attention in education. And it's still interconnected to other areas. Like I said, it has to be considered. Politics, religion, all these things affect the educational system. And we shouldn't wait on God to solve our problems. Let the schools train people that can actually solve real life problems, not just make them intelligent, because people are just intelligent, but they're not conscious. They can't pay attention. No identity consciousness. No, they are not conscious of their environment. They're just brilliant. That cannot bring solution to our problem in Nigeria. Wow. This goes to all African countries and everybody. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you very much, Mr. Nelson. It was really a pleasure having you. and for our viewers, you can please make your comments in the comment section. This is going to be a 4-part series. If you want to watch more of other series, please follow us on our YouTube to scroll on the screen. I hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you. And this is sponsored by Diora.
And about Diora Cosmetics, Diora Cosmetics is a subsidiary company under Geochin International Limited, and they are in the cosmetic industry. Geochin is like the umbrella company, like the holdings, where we have Geochin International Schools, we have Diora Cosmetics, we have Geochin Agriculture Business, and we have a shopping mall under Geochin. We have other businesses under Geochin. So look for that name, Geochin International Limited, Diora Cosmetics, and you can follow us on our personal handles too.
Thank you very much.
So nice having you. Thank you.
You're welcome.